Previously on Try.
Kira!
Oh, do you Dermot? This isn't even bourbon!
Dude, so go on, yeah.
You sound like a turkey.
Well, no better two people to chat shit than myself and Kira. This is going to be hours. Strap yourselves in, folks. It's a podcast.
Honestly, we've got it all figured out.
I always think when it comes to life's hardest questions, who do you ask? The people on the Try channel.
Absolutely.
You know it's bad when you're turning to Dermot for advice.
Never turn to Dermot for advice.
I don't know if they say this in other countries, but over here we say the drunk man's tongue speaks the sober man's truth. That's when when you're drunk. It's when the real stuff comes out. You know.
I think it's really important.
Absolutely.
Really important.
You don't know someone until you've asked them at 4 in the morning what they think the meaning of life is.
First question is, what is the meaning of life?
The meaning of life, you say?
So we're just going for the biggest question and then downhill from there. Jesus,
Have you ever
fuck.
seen cats eating lemons? So when a cat
Wait
eats
a fucking second. Whoa, hey. What's the meaning of life? And the first words out of your mouth are, have you ever seen cats eating lemons?
when a cat eats a lemon, it goes like this. And that is my feeling toward that question.
That's an incredible answer.
Yeah.
I just have a good time. Enjoy yourself. Why worry about anything?
I love that.
Yeah.
I actually really like that.
Your house is going to be repossessed. Who cares?
Who cares?
Have a whiskey. I've gotten involved with the mob.
Why
Don't
did
worry.
you do that? Don't
Have an ice cream.
An ice cream.
Nice, lovely ice cream.
It's such a loaded question.
It is, yeah.
You can look at it in terms of like physically what's the meaning of life, which everybody will say it's reproduction. The meaning of life is to reproduce and keep going. But actually, we've gone past that as a society. What's the personal meaning of life? What's like self-fulfillment, self-actualization? What is that? I don't know. everyone else has a different meaning.
You answering this question now is very different to say you answering this question maybe a year ago.
I love this question. I do think that every single year you become a different person, especially in your like 20 to 40s.
Why are you looking at me when you say that?
Because you're in your 30s.
So I was on this walk and I had this epiphany and I was thinking about, because, you know, career, life, where am I going, paths I need to choose. I got lost, therefore there was a path this way, there was a path this way, what one do I choose? And then I thought to myself, why? Why am I choosing this path? Why am I choosing that path? Know your why. And I think once you know why is gonna answer your path to life.
I'm thinking, why am I here? Free booze.
Answers his question.
And I do think between your 20s and your 40s is when you change the most. Let's be real. When you're a kid, it's like, okay, you're in school and you're very, like you're following a format, whatever. And then you go to college and you're like this totally different person. Then once you're like 40, you're probably like kind of settled and have your shit
Now
together.
what does settled mean to you there? So here's the thing.
Settle means a lot of things.
No, but
settle means kind of comfortable in career, relationship.
Oh, let me tell you.
Not just relationship.
Let me tell you. It's not gonna happen.
It doesn't really make much sense to explain it, but it's so personal to everybody. So I feel like life doesn't really have meaning. There's no meaning there. It doesn't mean anything. There's no actual truth to it. It's completely up to what you make of it. So I think
This is deep already.
I mean it. Life doesn't have a meaning.
I've only just recently started to even contemplate who I actually am.
Really?
Yeah. The look of utter terror in her face. I've got a good 10 years on this woman, and she is terrified. Not next question. We're sticking with this, okay?
We haven't answered the
We
question.
haven't answered the question.
We haven't answered
Listen,
the question.
Sean, okay, if you're going to ask us these questions, expect us to dig fucking deep, okay? This is what's happening here.
Since I have become 25, I have learned about myself, who I am. I fully believe I know who I am and what I like. I fully believe that. I don't think in the next 10 years that I will have different feelings, honestly. Because genuinely, I'm so content. I would feel like if I didn't feel content, I'd be like, oh yeah, I will change in 10 years. But the fact that I'm so content right now, I'm like, I don't see much changing apart from like the big stuff. Like
I'll tell you this right now.
this is a great fucking pairing because you're older than me and I'm looking at you and I'm like,
I'm older than you, but you have everything figured out much more than I do. I'll tell you right
Do
now.
I? You don't
Whoa,
know.
oh, 100%.
No, you don't know that though.
Oh, I do. I fully do.
But the meaning isn't there. It's up to you
To interpret it.
find your own meaning. So I think that for me, it's always been an inward thing. I think that you create the house that you live in terms of your thoughts, how you treat yourself, how you treat others, how you treat your body, everything. Meaning is really nothing. It's just what you choose to think and do every day. So I don't actually think the meaning of life exists. I think that it's up to us to actually create our own meaning. And my meaning is very different to somebody else's meaning. So
What is mind?
it doesn't
Doesn't
really
matter.
exist.
What is matter? Never
Never
mind.
mind.
What is happiness?
What is happiness?
For me, happiness is a small kitten curled up beside an open fire.
Oh, would you agree?
Yeah, we're quite positive.
Yeah, why are we so positive? People ask me that all the time. They're like, why are you so fucking happy all the time? What's the story? I'm like, it's a fucking choice. Happiness isn't just floating around.
I don't
fucking
know if
there.
I agree with that. I think, like, I don't know, like, you and I both grew up in loving families. There's people out there who are disadvantaged and they might get a hiding when they go home. You don't know what's going on. And for them, you know, just to say, oh, happiness is a choice, they're not going to be like, I choose to be happy, because then you're just, you know what I mean?
I completely agree with you.
Because I honestly, from knowing you, I've probably known you 5 years at this stage, have I?
Probably, yeah. Something like that.
I think you're different.
Do you?
Yeah.
Bringing the second question in. Would you look at me and say I'm happier? now?
Yes, 100%.
Do you think?
And do you think you're happier now?
Oh, easily, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
no,
I mean,
I see a happiness, like a ray of happiness in you that I did not see 5 years ago. And that's...
there's still a deep well of sadness.
Do you know the little things? Do you know the little things that make, like, someone makes you a cup of tea, or you get home a little bit early from work? If you find the element of happiness in each day, then you've cracked the Da Vinci Code of happiness.
I think the presence of pain that actually creates true happiness, because you understand that you have to make an actual choice and that pain is inevitable.
Absolutely.
It's
Yin and
personal.
yang.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
like
You
pain
can't
is
have
so,
one without the other,
it's
yeah.
so irrespective of your actual circumstances. What is painful for someone might be fine for someone else. But I think happiness comes from knowing that pain is inevitable and that pain is okay. And that actually through that is an understanding that when you find happiness in the small things, you'll find way more happiness in the big things.
How many of y'all are that articulate after 12 shots of whiskey?
I don't know.
That's what I want to know.
Happiness to me is being happy in yourself. I think before anything else, you have to be happy in yourself.
Happiness is whatever the fuck you want it to be. What is absolutely normal for the spider is chaos for the fly. It doesn't exist.
That's a lovely expression.
It doesn't exist. Whatever makes you happy. People look at happiness like a goalpost and they're like, when I get the promotion, when I move into that house, when I find this person, when I do this. It's so insular. It's all about your relationship with yourself. Every question that you can probably ask me in this video will always come back to your relationship with yourself. What are you saying to yourself on a
Yes.
daily basis? How are you treating yourself? Your happiness will be dictated by what's going on in between your ears and nothing else.
Happiness in yourself is being like, I'm fully comfortable in who I am, what I'm about, what I'm doing in my life, and I don't care what the frick anyone else is doing because I'm just doing me. And over time you realize what makes you happy. And what makes you happy is love, is your job, and then also what makes you happy is just doing what you're passionate about. And if you find those three things, you will become the happiest version of yourself. And don't compare yourself to others. Just look at that, go down that lane for yourself, and you will find the magic.
I'll tell you what happiness is for you. Whatever the fuck you want it to be. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's not hurting anyone else. If it makes you happy, go with it. Just as long as if you're not hurting anyone else with what makes you happy, go with that. Don't let anyone give you a list of things of ways to be happy. Aiden gave a list of things of ways to be happy, and she's not wrong. She's not wrong at all. They're good things. Follow those advice if it's for you. If not, follow whatever makes you happy as long as it doesn't hurt anyone else.
I agree.
Is it easier to love or to be loved?
I find it hard. It's easy to be loved.
Is it?
When you're me. Yeah.
Neither of them are an effort, really. Or they shouldn't be an effort, I don't think.
It's difficult to show love because it does, you know, it's quite a vulnerable thing to do, isn't it? To show love to someone.
Probably easier to love than to be loved, because being loved is letting someone into your whole self, your vulnerable self, the self that probably literally nobody else on the planet knows about you, not even your best friend.
I think being loved is harder. I think it's a lot more pressure. I find it a lot easier to throw myself into the abyss without thinking, or just, I find it easier to do the action myself rather than sit back. I think being loved is more difficult because there is so much more pressure, because you're dealing with probably the most delicate thing in the world, which is somebody else's feelings.
Do you think that there is like that wall? Because it's easier to be loved because you are a funny guy. A lot of guys have funny personalities, or a lot of guys are amazing human beings. However, to give the love back to someone, whoever that someone may be, is that you're a little bit guarded. I'm just curious to ask that because that's your answer.
Yeah. Let's go deep.
I mean,
I think you're right. I think guys do build, the way Colin built this, they're a bit more guarded.
yeah. For me, I love harder, and I'm a bit too trusting. I'm a bit way too trusting.
Yeah, I'm the opposite.
Yeah. See.
Don't trust anyone.
There you go.
I feel like in my own relationship right now, Aideen is the best. Like, and she's always thinking about me, and she always does nice things to me. And I try so hard to live up to what she deserves, but I can't.
But you know that there are like different types of love languages. So like how you express it to her is so different.
Yeah.
So like her way of expressing herself would be a certain way, which she will do absolutely fabulously, and you're like, oh my god, how did
and
she
I feel so
even...
unfair you because she's so good at it.
But you probably do things and say things and treat her in such a way that absolutely, because of course she absolutely adores it. Incompatibility in terms of love languages is almost better, because you have someone, we don't always want what we give.
That actually makes sense, actually, yeah.
So she probably treats you in a way that she doesn't exactly expect back, but you love her in a different way that's in actuality far more valuable to her.
Like,
It's easier to love because it's yourself putting that out there, but to be loved, it's yourself putting yourself on the line. One of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, but probably one of the most rewarding things, because it means that you get to another level with a human that you have so much respect and love for in your life.
If you want my answer on that, just put written by Dermot Ward beneath her there when everything she just said, because it's the same thing.
What one piece of life advice would you give to a newborn?
To a newborn?
Wow.
Now, assuming a newborn would actually understand what you meant. You get.
I get what you mean. I get someone who understands what we're saying, but is fresh to the world.
Don't eat yellow snow.
I was just thinking that.
I'd be like, never go to the pub on an empty stomach.
Wait until you are at least 25 to fully understand who you are, because you will meet so many people along the way and learn so much about yourself and your career and your values and your inherent self in those few years, that when you get to the point that you're 25, you'll fully be able to evaluate what you want and who you are.
Can I just say that is incredible advice, really, really good advice, but that you're not giving that to a newborn. You're recording that when they're born, and then they watch that when they're like, they watch that when they're like 15.
Life is gonna throw a lot of curveballs your way. However, if you can manage those curveballs based on who you are and trust your instincts, those curveballs are just part of the juggling. You just gotta take them up and add them to it, because you gotta juggle that shit. You're gonna juggle it for the rest of your life, but how you manage that juggling, you're gonna be in the circus for a long time, you know what I mean?
Fucking who cares what I think? Live your own life. Go mad. The only thing that I would say is love yourself. The conversations that you have inside, just whatever you're doing, just be kind to yourself. Everything will be easier when you have a nicer discussion going on in between your ears.
Piece of life advice you'd give to someone
once they're cognitively a bit.
I'm sorry, Sean, but you didn't fucking say that in the beginning, okay? You didn't fucking say that. Did he say that? He didn't fucking say that in the beginning.
But I think if you be sound to other people, you see what life is all about.
I agree,
The
but
way
I
you
think
make
that
people feel.
kindness only exists if it exists inwardly. When the cup is full, it overflows. I think it all starts from within. You cannot help other people unless you help yourself first. If you don't have that good relationship, all your relationships with other people are just
It's
kind
interesting
of-
because as Irish people, we're
Oh, it's what we're taught the opposite
yeah,
of.
we're taught to be martyrs.
We're taught completely
regardless
the
of what's
opposite.
going on in here.
But
Be
sure, that's
kind to everybody
why...
else.
So Dermot, for someone who's turning 25.
Give advice to someone who's turning 25.
Yeah.
You don't know what's happening. You don't. I guarantee you think you know what's going on. You think you know where you should be in life. You think you know who you are, and you think you know what you're doing. Hold on, I should probably be talking to you here.
I'm very offended about what you're saying. So
I do not mean this is a negative thing in any way, shape, or form. Because here's the thing: if you do believe all that, and you move on in life, and say 25-year-old me knows better than 28-year-old me, for example, that's a bad thing. Because 28-year-old you will be a better person than you were, no matter what. So listen to you a year from now. Listen to you a year after that. Listen to you a year after that as well. Listen to you. Don't listen to past you. Not the person that came.
But what about my person now, right? I'm 25.
Yeah.
Tell me what I need to know as someone who is older than a 25-year-old. Tell me.
I can't.
I want to know.
This is what I'm telling you. I can't tell you that. You can tell you that, and you will know best when you get there, okay? Because you will have lived your life.
No, I don't want to hear that answer. I want you to tell me, as someone who is older, what you learned in contrast to your 25-year-old self.
Here's the thing. I'm a fucking idiot who learned.
No! Fuck off!
No.
No,
Fuck you.
no.
Okay. This is what I'm honest to God. This is the thing. Okay. From your age to fucking my age, I learned very fucking little. From like in the last couple of years, I've learned more than I've ever learned. I swear to God. I genuinely mean this. You are you, okay? And you're going to be you in a couple of years' time. And in a couple of years' time, you're going to look back on 25-year-old you, and you'll be like, I'm a better person. I'm an even better person than that person was. And that person was a fucking good person in the first place, okay? So all you need to do is just keep growing and keep being a better person, and you'll be fucking grand. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I think that there is at least one piece of advice that you can give me.
And there is.
As someone who is 10 years younger.
And
to
there
be
is.
like, this is the one piece of advice.
There is. There
So
absolutely
give it
is.
to me.
Here it is. Don't go looking for one piece of advice from someone older than you. That's the one piece of advice I can give you. That's the truth. It is the truth. It is the truth.
There's more.
No, there really isn't. Because do you know who's going to know you better than anyone else in this world ever? You. You're the only person who's going to know you better than anyone else in this world. When I keep saying that it's fucking you, I genuinely mean that. I genuinely mean that. We put so much on how other people perceive us, but other people perceiving us is it comes down to our own perception of ourselves.
Yeah. No, it does. Me and Dermot, we're best pals.
There you go.
Can you remember?
How did that go?
Can you remember what we talked about? Because we can't remember what we talked about. We just went for it.
I feel like Colin's learned a lot.
Yeah.
Like you were just sitting there nodding, listening.
And you're sober,
Yeah.
which is also really sad.
It felt like it is very sad. It is very sad, isn't it?
I do think, though, if you're watching a Tri-Channel video looking for the meaning of life, you are in the wrong place.
We're just having a lot of fun,
So,
and hopefully you are too.
The person watching this, and not the people watching this, I'm talking to the person watching this. So you, right there, you watching this right now. What I'll say to you is what I'll say to everyone else. Forget everything we just said and just live your fucking life. Don't hurt anyone. That's it. All I can say.
Life will guide you in the right direction of what is right and what is wrong. And it will literally tell you where you're meant to be. And that is all that matters. The end.
If you don't hurt anyone, you're doing okay.
Yep.